What's going on, guys? We're going to be talking today about the Man United Leeds game today. Obviously, it was a fantastic game for Man United, winning 5 goals to 1. There's a lot of action going on in that game, and it really was a great way to start the season for us. I think, obviously, before the game, I was sort of calling for us. I thought we'd actually win 3-0. I thought the way Leeds play, and I still feel that way, to be fair. The way Leeds play, I think it benefits Man United in some ways, in that they don't just sit there. They're not a low block, which is obviously something that we've struggled to perform against. But yeah, they come out and they play and they really try and take the game to you. So obviously the consequence of that is if you can exploit it, which we did, you can sort of find space in behind and get behind their line. And I thought we did that really well. I think before the game, there was obviously the massive announcement of Rafael Varane, which I think was also perfect, man. From what I could see on the TV, Old Trafford was buzzing, everybody was happy, the noise was crazy. You know, there was a really good atmosphere there. And I think the unveiling of Varane 5-10 minutes before kickoff was the perfect the perfect plan for us, and it worked out so well. Obviously him going over and shaking hands with Ferdinand, that huge PR, I mean, it was just, yeah, it was perfectly done. So yeah, moving into the game, I think we started brightly. I thought again, we looked physically at it. I guess the real main benefit of Fred and McTominay is that they really do buzz around the place. They really do try to get to their men. They're never short of intensity off the ball. And I thought that put us in good stead, allowed us to win the ball. And then I think the extra added on thing that they were doing, and actually us as a team were doing, was that we were moving the ball really fast as soon as we got the ball, and getting it to our forward players, the likes of Pogba and Fernandes, who could really sort of do the most creative things for us. And I guess that turned out how it went. You know, if I think about how Fernandez's goal, the first one, whereby I think Lindelof wins the ball in our half, after a Leeds clearance by the goalkeeper, and then it goes to McTominay. McTominay passes it immediately into Pogba. Pogba then finds a lovely ball over to Bruno, who smashes it home, and just sort of trickles into the goal after Meslier tries to parry it. You know, and I think that goal really did sum up how I think Solskjaer wants us to play, and really how we approach the game. You know, getting to our men, passing the ball forward quickly, nice creativity, and really ruthless finishing. It carried on in that vein, and I think just overall it was a fantastic game for us. You know, I think there was a lot of talk after the game for who should be man of the match. And really, I think the man of the match for me would be Pogba. I think Bruno Fernandes goes home with the match ball, but I think Pogba deserves that man of the match performance, because he was really at the heart of everything we did from a creative perspective. And it was that quality that I think we needed, that actually helped us unlock versus Leeds, you know. I think sometimes if we look back at previous games, sometimes it's felt there's this lack of quality that's been able to really unlock and take advantage of openings that we may create from winning the ball back. And I thought Pogba was fantastic in that. Not to take anything away from Bruno, who I thought was amazing as well. I think in terms of his finishing, he's just so ruthless in that way, and he just gets into the right positions as well. Just a fantastic performance from him. You know, I could really walk through the whole lineup and talk about, you know, each person who had sort of a fantastic impact. I think it was just overall a fantastic team performance. Special mention to Lindelof. Reason being, obviously Rafael Varane comes in this week after, you know, obviously being confirmed in July, but finally, actually being unveiled today. I think there's a lot of pressure on Lindelof, and there's a huge perception that he's kind of the weak link in our defence, and so he gets a lot of grief. And I do feel like some of that grief that he gets is unjust. I think he's been actually good for us. I do agree that there are certain weaknesses in terms of his physicality, and how he deals with aerial duels. So, you know, these quite strong strikers and whatnot. But I think by and large, he's been a good servant for us, really. And I felt like he performed extremely well in the game against Leeds. Really didn't put a foot wrong. Was very aggressive in getting to his men. You know, his passing distribution, which is I think probably the main thing that will be missed if we continue playing Varane. Sorry, not if we continue. When we because it looks like we will start, that Varane-Maguire partnership. Now, it's not to say Varane is not a capable passer of the ball, but I just think Lindelof's ability to pass the ball is really elite, and it's really one of his strong suits. I don't necessarily agree with this notion that he should be put into defensive midfield. I think that's, again, there's like a complete different position. You know, there's one thing playing centre back where everything's in front of you. There's another thing playing DM where you have to have almost like a 360 view of the pitch. There's perhaps, I would say, more pressure on the ball. Yeah, it's just not the same thing. But I thought he had a fantastic performance, and it really is worth mentioning. Moving to next week, we've got Southampton away, and hopefully we continue in that vein with that winning start. You know, as I've said before the game, I felt as though last season a big sort of issue for us was actually the way we started the season. It was awful as a result of the pre-season. But today we've started so much better, and we hope to continue that in that way up until the sort of the international break. That's my views on the game. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'll come with my sort of preview for the game, the Southampton game, and my match review after as well. Cheers.